fun for us, I think, as a team, was to see the support we got from the fans, just filling that bowl, and then again, the Seattle fans just being loud, understanding how to help and wanting to. I thought the XFL did a tremendous job of creating the right atmosphere for our fans, and then it was great to be in a familiar place. And I couldn't be more excited for our players, because most of our players, almost all of them, never experienced the support like a stadium can give them, and that was kind of exciting for them. And I think they saw how the fans created the atmosphere, and in that creation, they just they felt at home as well, not out of place at all. And I hope we can continue to improve. We have a lot, we still have a lot to work on, and they know it. But they were resilient today. We ended up being fortunate to win the game.
Two questions. First, a lot of defense today. It seemed like offense was a little sluggish. And then we also expect with the XFL maybe some higher scoring games with some of the rule changes. So we didn't really see that. We probably will in the future. How do we get there?
Yeah, I think what happened early in the first half, I walked in and we had 0, but we felt like we were leaving things on the field, not finishing either a play with a throw, an overthrow, or a guy slipping, and those were really frustrating things. And the thing that I saw from our offense was just frustration, because they knew we had things there for us, and we left some of those things empty. The best part about what we did was come back out and not just allow it to happen again and keep that frustration level high. And the one big play really helped us out with Keenan on the post, and finally our quarterback had some touch and threw a beautiful ball, and that kind of, I think everybody took a breath after that and said, okay, here we go.
Here we go. Yeah. And the other thing is, this was almost like a first date, right, with the Seattle fans.
Mm-hmm.
The Seattle fans showed up looking really good.
Yeah.
The Dragons delivered. But as we develop this relationship, could you tell the fans maybe some things about the Dragon culture or the team that they don't know?
Yeah, well, I think one is much like the an NFL expansion team. Now this is really an expansion league, if you will. We put 8 teams together, and these guys are just getting to know each other. So I think much like the Seahawks were in the beginning, I think our players are going to try to establish their own identity. They're establishing their own traditions, what is really meaningful to them, and I think it's in that very early stage where it's it's hard to identify, but you see, we have some leadership on our team. We have some stick-to-itiveness, which, I know that coaches enjoy. They come ready to work. And even last week, after our loss, we knew that we had something going, and we had to improve if we were going to earn the opportunity to win this week. So I think those are the things. I don't know.
Well, if there was one
I think there's going to be growth.
Maybe one word that could characterize who you are right now.
We're 1-on-1, but those are 3 words. I think developing. We're a developing team, and we hope to take every opportunity we have to improve. And what I'm excited about is, we're 2 games in. Think about this. This is what was amazing to me. We have 5 home games. That's it. So we're, 20% done, right? And so everything means something. Every drive means something.
So did you consider making a change at quarterback after the pick 6?
Well, after the pick 6, well, it wasn't like he. No, I didn't. I heard some of the frustration. We were all frustrated, but I've been in a situation like that before, where I know that the quarterback is frustrated, and so I just I wasn't going to panic. if that would have been a continuation through into the second half and, just continue to prolong these things, I probably would have had to. Because sometimes even a quarterback would say, please, put me out of my misery. But he hung in there tough. He knew what the situation was. And I think he's pretty tough. He stands in there, he stands in that pocket really well. He doesn't shy away from being hit or trying to throw a ball right at that last second. So I appreciated that. Yeah, we're going to see, and he's going to see that he could have hit some throws. There was no excuse making for him. He really took responsibility, but it wasn't, when a quarterback is not on, you kind of look at him and, sometimes they might have that little glaze in their eyes going, what's going on out here? But he was in it the whole game. And so I did not want to make that change at that time, especially this first home game, and where you really, you got to develop some sort of rhythm and poise and things like that. That's what I felt like he was trying to do. Yes, sir.
Now, Coach, I got to ask. So before the season, you guys have had a lot of moving parts to put together, a lot of things to put in place before you guys hit the field, and now you finally come home to Seattle, to the legendary CenturyLink Field, and
Yes.
you guys brought home your very first win. How are you guys feeling right now?
Oh gosh, well it's pretty amazing, and thanks. It really has been a road that, and I'm sure it's not over yet, but we're on this road that it is emotional ups and downs. We've got three players and or maybe 4 players that are actually on the active roster that can't play yet. Casey Williams, Isaiah Battle, these are guys that want to get in there. Ruben Moela, and we're just waiting for them to get well. We have 2 guys that are coming off a temporary injured reserve. So in this the roster is still kind of growing and mixing, and I'm excited about the win. We still have rough road, we have very difficult roads ahead, as well as every team. Yes, sir.
You talk about Marcel's touchdown and what you felt in that moment when he scored.
You mean Marcel Frazier?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I was hearing him try to explain it. Oh, I saw it in slow motion. And he was, who knows, he was trying to explain it to a group of the press. Just so excited for him. D-linemen never get to have that kind of glory or whatever on a touchdown. They might get a batted ball, they might get a sack, but to actually score. So yeah, he was holding court inside the locker room, and I was happy for him. Yes.
So obviously you guys are trying to develop, but I know you can only take 1 week at a time talking to some of the players this week. 3rd down conversion as well as coming together as a team were 2 things your players said you're focusing on. How do you feel like you performed on this?
I feel like we really performed on coming together and just not turning aside from our belief system of what we believe in. And it was really true between that coming in at halftime and having no points, and the defense really doing a great job. All day. And maybe they could have got off the field a little bit more in that last drive, but it's hard when you're trying to just make that team go along field. But we had some resilience there, and I think that really showed the fans, showed their teammates that they were not going to give up. So I was really pleased that they came back out and stayed together. We did not change the game plan. We stayed with it, and we started putting points on the board. I still wish we'd have had more, but we started putting some on the board, which is exciting.
Coach Zorn, did they tell you were mic'd up this time?
Yeah, they're going to tell me I'm mic'd up every time, I believe, and they're saying, deal with it. But it makes it really fun, probably pretty exciting to watch it on TV, and I had some other things I wanted to do, but I feel like I've got to get a better way to have to have everybody clearly hear me the very first time that I call the play or I'm saying something. And sometimes, and I'm glad for how loud our fans are. So I would never tell our fans to be quiet, because they know what they're doing, they're really enjoying themselves. I just have to have a clear, clearer way that they can hear me without a little bit of nuisance, and I don't know what it is. It could be our disc jockey, you know, who knows? Our DJ, you know, so, yes.
You said you didn't get away from the game plan, but were there any adjustments you made at halftime, especially on offense, to be more successful in the second half?
Well, I would say no, you know, there were no complete changes. We just honed in on the packages that we felt like we could, that we were being successful. We looked like we were going to be successful, and in fact, in the second half, you saw some of the same calls, but we didn't slip. We didn't miss a block. We weren't there too fast, or we weren't there too late. The cohesiveness of the group, once they started playing together, and you know, I really believe once they started playing together, they started, you know, finishing plays and sustaining drives. Still frustrating not to be able to finish a drive, you know, from start to finish with a touchdown going the long field. But our run game kept us in the game. That's for sure. Yes.
You talked about Marcel earlier. I mean, but the defense across the board, they were active, flying around. Jeremy Clark played well as well. Just what are you seeing out of the defense right now, and what's impressing you the most?
Yeah.
What they're able to do.
Yeah. What I was excited about was, you know, there's a lot of difficult calls on defense because you can't just stay in one front, one coverage, or even several. So I thought we did a really good job of communicating, and when teams are changing personnel groups plus formations, I think it's really critical that our defenders communicate well. And because sometimes you can get caught you needing to be on an inside leverage, and they get caught outside because, you know, they, you know, for whatever reason, communication can do that, or alignment can do that. And I'm pretty proud of our defense. They had to play a lot more plays. Last week, our defense had 56 plays. Today, the opponent actually put 75 plays on them. So they really had to play a lot more, and I thought our rotation went really well with our D-line to keep people fresh. And again, that communication in the linebacker positions with the secondary kept us in the game.
We have time for a couple more.
Yes.
Yeah, you've seen this stadium when it was really rocking for the Seahawks. Did it have the same feel today at various times?
You know, it wasn't quite as loud as you know, a full stadium, but you know, it was loud for our players, and to see the fans in Dragons gear and see all the things that the our media group, our marketing group put together for the players, for the fans. I was really excited about that because it felt like a real game. And now, you know, eventually we're going to say it felt like a real XFL game. And you know, that's new to even say, isn't it? So I'm excited for them, what the crowd brought and the enthusiasm and the backing. And we're going to grow. I do think that this is a league that people are going to want to kind of judge whether or not we're worthy of having a support group. So I was talking to our players before and after the game that everything we do, we have to earn. We have to earn those rights. And you know, we earned the right to win today, and hopefully we'll earn the trust of our fans to support us.
I was just curious, on the last drive, how nervous were you getting?
Oh.
And did you see the offensive pass interference? Were you pretty comfortable that was coming back?
I was comfortable. I saw it. So I just turned around and walked down because I knew we had that when he pushed off.
Right.
But you know, we still let him get in behind us. So again, you know, positioning is going to be critical. And I thought the refs, you know, the officials did a wonderful job of communicating to us and then understanding themselves what the rules were. So yeah, but I was still really nervous that you know, they were continuing to move down the field. You know, I switched over and wondered if anybody was there. I'm only kidding, they were. And they were intense. They were as intense as I was. Clayton Lopez, who's our D coordinator, along with that, you know, our whole defensive staff just did a great job keeping that group going. You know, it's hard to stop a team when they're throwing every down, and all he had to do was just hit that back foot, look, and then we're playing soft, And then, it's easy to dump those balls off and move the balls. He did a great job that way.
Last question?
Yes.
There was a 3rd and 18 right before the missed field goal, and Brandon threw a deep out, 18 yards right at the sticks. Was there any thought to maybe try to steal 6 yards or try to make the field goal shorter on 3rd and 18?
I wanted to get the first down. I knew that we were not in field goal range. That's a good question. But I really felt confident in the play we had because we were running a deep out. And I had seen earlier in that drive on these longer situations, the corners were soft. So we might have got the first down right just like that. I know it's really close. But we'll come back and we take our shots. I think the players know that whatever's on that game plan, it's game. The game is on, and I'm gonna call things. And what they did a really good job with, and you alluded to this about adjusting. I called some of the same plays, but you can't call them from the same formation. So you got to use a motion or a shift to get something that looks different to that defensive group, so you can still maybe run the same play. And that's what we kind of did today a little bit towards the end, anyway.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
We have Brandon
See you next
next.
time.
Thank you.
We'll step right up.
How's your body?